CigarClub.com, the first ever intelligent cigar subscription. Also an official sponsor for RonRealTV. What's good, YouTube? What's good, Double R Army? It is your boy Ron Real, aka Double R, back in the building, back with another video. Today we're going to be answering some frequently asked questions by a lot of people that follow me on Facebook, on Instagram, and on YouTube. Over the 7 months that I've been involved in the cigar community, a lot of questions have become compiled up, and I figured instead of just answering each one of those questions on a single term, I would just put out a video for you guys and answer it that way. So with that being said, y'all hang tight, stay tuned, and we'll get to these questions. I've been smoking now for approximately, or right at 5 years. June of this year will be 5 years. I started in the summer of 2015. I still remember my very first cigar that one of my good friends, G Money, shout out to G Money too, he gave me my very first cigar. It was a Macanudo Maduro. At that time, he was smoking a lot of those, a lot of Partagas Blacks, and we were at a party one day, man, just kind of hanging out and chilling, and he was like, man, I got a cigar. Didn't know anything about him at all, but you know, everybody else was smoking them, so I guess I kind of folded to the peer pressure, and he handed me a Macanudo Maduro. I don't really remember much from it. I do remember that it wasn't that strong of a cigar, but I enjoyed it, and it got to the point where, you know, I was interested in cigars at that point, so I just kind of took it a next step further, and here we have it. 5 years later, I have a YouTube channel. So. All right, so I think I've said this in a couple of live streams if you guys follow me close enough. I started the YouTube channel because I wanted to get myself into the cigar industry without becoming a sales rep. Being a firefighter, I'm already away from home a lot as is, and I'm not really crazy about retail and sales and things like that, but I do like the cigar community a lot. So I guess when I was forming the channel, I figured that this would be a better way to get my name and to build my brand and get it out that way, as opposed to kind of going probably the more traditional way, just joining a cigar company and becoming a sales rep and working your way up through the end. So I just kind of wanted to bypass that step and just kind of, you know, kind of create my own lane, create my own way. So yeah, that's pretty much the gist of the YouTube channel. Also too, there's been a few people that I followed in the past. One of them, Charles Wallenford, he still does content too as far as pairings, but another one of my huge influencers, Puro Maduro, he stopped doing content a couple years ago. And so I just kind of felt like I could bring something to the table that not really was being, you know, brought to the forefront as far as pairings and stuff like that. So, you know. All right, so that's kind of funny. So I guess at this time, you know, when I was younger, all of us had a stage where we wanted to become rappers or in the music industry. So when I was in middle school and I was rapping then and all the way up until I was in high school, I used the name Lil Ron. So at the time, everybody had little L-I-L in front of their name, or young, so it'd be like Young Ron or Lil Ron. And then just as I got older, I kind of pushed the little away from Ron and just put Ron Real together. And so I rapped with that name for a couple years, and then when I was coming up with the YouTube channel, I was talking to another one of my good friends, shout out to Taylor, man, and trying to figure out a name, because the initial name of the channel was going to be the Ron McCoy channel, but then I was talking to him, he was like, man, don't put your whole name on a channel, just kind of come up with something more catchy. And so after a couple days of thinking, I was like, man, I'll just go back and use my old name that I used when I was a rapper, Ron Real. Then I put TV behind it, because when I first started the channel, I wasn't just gonna only do cigars. I was gonna do cigars, whiskeys, shoes, fitness, other kind of things. So I wanted to kind of, you know, make an umbrella. But then after doing some research on some other videos, when they were saying you should hone in more on a particular subject, and that would be how you can maximize your growth. That's why I just kind of went with the cigars. So yeah, RonRealTV is just nothing more than a rap name I had when I was a kid. It just all depends. Usually on a work day, if I'm at work, probably 3, maybe 4, and then days that I'm off or if I'm on vacation, it's not uncommon for me to smoke 5 or 6 cigars a day, sometimes more. It just really depends on what's going on, who I'm around. But I would say on a day-to-day basis, I would say anywhere between 4 and 6 cigars a day would be normal for me. Man, you guys already know one of the guys that influenced me the most, and we actually currently have a really tight relationship. We do a lot of work together, and that is Lee Mac 912, so shout out to the GOAT. I remember I first started smoking in 2015, like I was telling you guys, and probably like a lot of newer people that start smoking cigars or any kind of subject matter, you get on YouTube and try to do some research on it. So when I started smoking cigars, I researched on YouTube, and Lee Mac was a channel I came across, and he was somebody that I feel like I could relate to. So it's just been a blessing to be able to be around him and actually to be working with him now and being on a more personal level now that I'm actually a content creator. Of course, you guys just heard me reference Puro Maduro. He was another huge influence to me, and I loved what he did. I loved what he brought to the table. Guys like Charles Wallingford, he's another guy that I was I'm still really a really big fan of. He's still putting out content now. There's a couple other people too, but those 3 for sure were 3 of the main channels that I watched a lot coming up. All right, some goals for me personally, man. Again, the reason why I started the YouTube channel, I'm really hoping that I get a chance from somebody, some big company, or it doesn't even have to be a really big company, but I want to become a blender. So a goal for me would be to get my name, far enough out there where the right person that can try to help me get my dreams to come true or be able to help me out with that. As far as that too, other goals would just be making content that people enjoy, and that's pretty much it. Just trying to help people out. All right, so that's kind of a little bit of a process. So I'm in a group on Facebook called the Perfecto Social Club. One of my good friends, Don, shout out to Don too, man. He's done a lot for me. But back in December of 2019, we just kind of were bullshitting and talking on a post on Facebook one day. And you know me, I'm doing reviews and pairings, but I also am always trying to remain creative and trying to figure out things that'll become engaging for people or make people want to see what I have going on. And we just kind of were talking and came up with the idea of how about we start putting cigars against each other, and then we took it a step further, and I started thinking, well, March Madness is coming, so why don't I just take an X amount of number of cigars, put them together, smoke them against each other all the way up the tree, and then we'll just have a champion. And then, I did a lot of research to make sure that nobody had done anything like that before, and the only thing I found that had Cigar Madness was, I believe it was something in Florida where a bar, they just smoked cigars and picked their brackets for the actual NCAA tournament. It wasn't anything cigar related other than the guys actually smoking cigars. So I was like, all right, I got a chance to be a pioneer and to design something new. So that's pretty much it. Me and Don pretty much brainstorming it. Favorite thing to drink? I would say probably 2 or 3 years ago it would have been hands down bourbon, but I'm finding now, especially now that I'm more of a cigar smoker, that I'm dabbling more with Cabernet, Syrahs in the form of red wine. Really big Scotch guy and a big rum guy. I would say bourbon actually kind of moved to the back, and I would say that particularly with cigars because I feel like Scotches are more complex than most bourbons, and red wines pair very well with cigars too. So from my palate, I feel like those are the things that I like the most now. I still drink bourbon, but nowhere near as much as I used to a couple years ago. So definitely I would say red wine or Scotch would be a #1 choice for me. That's pretty easy for me. Just stay genuine, stay creative. And so there's 3 things that I tell people all the time for me that I feel like makes me successful and that can make you successful: creativity, consistency, and honesty. You can't get anywhere without those 3 things. So just remain honest, do it for the love of whatever if you're doing cigar reviews, actually love cigars, love the community. Don't just try to do it to get money or free cigars and stuff like that, because you're not gonna last that long. You got to remain humble, you got to remain true to yourself. So my advice would just be stay creative, always be trying to think outside of the box and create ways to engage people. Remain honest by any means necessary, and just be consistent. I see a lot of people that have really good channels, but they're not consistent. You can't grow if you're only putting out one video a month or one video every 2 months. It's not gonna grow. You gotta be consistent. So I tell you, just come in the game and hit it hard, man. Okay, just without really stretching this answer really long, you know, a lot of times people think that it's a financial thing that you're helping with. Now, while that's, you know, especially while tobacco channels aren't monetized anymore, but there's Patreon options, Venmo. You could donate to these people. So, and not even just me, but I feel like if you really love these channels and you love what they're doing, help that person stay driven to want to do this stuff. You know, and that doesn't necessarily mean financially. Share the videos, tell other people in the cigar communities that may not know about that person. Speaking on me personally, that makes me want to continue to do my channel. That makes me want to continue to record content, come up with creative concepts. When you guys are sharing, when you guys are liking, donations, all this stuff, man. So I would say, and even I was like that as a viewer. People like Lee Mag, Charles, I've always supported those people. So whether it was me donating in their Patreons or whatever, I wanted to do whatever it took to make sure that that channel stayed alive. So I feel like viewers kind of take the content creators for granted sometimes, and they just don't think about this stuff. But it doesn't take much, man, to help out. Even if it's just sharing videos, that goes a long way. All right, so that was some of the questions that I've been asked over the 7 months of me being in the cigar industry, being a cigar reviewer right now. If you guys can think of any more questions that you want me to answer or anything like that, you guys already know, just to comment below. I read all my comments. I try to respond back to everybody. So I really appreciate you guys for taking the time out of your day and watching the content. I'm telling you, it's been a very humbling experience. We're growing constantly every day. Everything is just going how it should. I'm meeting up with a lot of really good people, and I appreciate you guys again, all of you, because without you guys, there is no me. So shout out to the Double R Army. We're gonna catch y'all on the next one. Y'all already know the name of the game is relaxation and enjoyment, and be driven, never motivated, man.